Summer mistakes that are making your cat suffer in silence. You've adjusted your wardrobe. You've turned on the fans. You're drinking more water and avoiding the afternoon sun. You've done all the things you do to get through summer comfortably. But your cat can't tell you when they're too hot. They can't ask for water. They can't move to a cooler room and explain why. And the ways cats show heat stress and summer-related suffering are subtle enough that most owners miss them entirely, sometimes for weeks, before anything becomes obvious. Summer creates specific risks for cats that are almost entirely different from winter risks. And the most common ones are hiding in plain sight, inside your home, in behaviors you've probably been interpreting as something else. Here are the mistakes that matter most, and what to do about them before summer gets worse. 1. You're assuming your cat is coping with the heat because they seem fine. The most important thing to understand about heat in cats is this: they don't sweat. Humans cool through a sweating system that covers most of the body's surface area. Cats have sweat glands only in their paw pads, a tiny fraction of the surface area available to humans, producing minimal evaporative cooling. They rely instead on behavioral thermoregulation, finding cool surfaces, reducing activity, seeking shade, and on panting, which is their last resort cooling mechanism. Here's what makes this dangerous. Panting in a cat is not the equivalent of panting in a dog. Dogs pant regularly and comfortably as a cooling mechanism. In cats, panting indicates that their primary thermoregulatory strategies have been insufficient and the body is now in a heat stress response. By the time your cat is panting, they have already been in a state of thermal challenge for some time. Most cat owners rarely see their cat pant, which is why it's so alarming when it happens. But the mistake is waiting until panting appears before taking action. By then, the cat has been uncomfortable, and in some cases, in early heat stress, for longer than it looked. Watch for the pre-panting signals. Seeking out unusually cool surfaces like tile or concrete, lying fully stretched rather than curled, significantly reduced movement, and grooming their own fur more than usual, which spreads saliva and provides minimal but real evaporative cooling. These are the signs your cat is working to manage heat before it becomes a crisis. 2. You don't know how hot your floor actually is? This is one of the most overlooked summer hazards in cat care, and it comes directly from basic physics. Air temperature and surface temperature are not the same thing. On a day when the air in your home is 85 degrees Fahrenheit, hard floor surfaces, tile, hardwood, concrete, can be significantly warmer, particularly in areas that receive direct sunlight. In outdoor environments, concrete and asphalt surfaces can reach temperatures 40 to 60 degrees above the ambient air temperature. Your cat's paw pads are in direct contact with these surfaces at all times. The pads can withstand higher temperatures than human skin, but they have a threshold, and surface burns from hot floors, particularly outdoor surfaces in direct sun, are a real and common summer injury. That often goes unnoticed because they're on the underside of the paw. Signs of paw pad discomfort include reluctance to walk on certain surfaces, licking the paws more frequently than usual, limping or shifting weight, and visible redness or blistering on the pads, which you'll only see if you look specifically. For indoor cats, checking floor temperatures in rooms that receive afternoon sun, particularly south and west-facing rooms, with a quick touch test before your cat has been walking on them, is a simple habit that costs nothing. For outdoor cats, restricting access to direct sun pavement during peak heat hours protects a part of their body most owners forget to think about. 3. You've opened the windows, but not screened them. Summer means windows open. For cats, open windows represent something specific: access to elevated perches with fresh air, bird activity, movement, and everything their senses find interesting about the outside world. They also represent a fall risk that is widely underestimated. High-rise syndrome, the veterinary term for falls from elevated windows and balconies, peaks during summer months, when windows are opened and cats who have never had the opportunity before encounter unscreened openings at height. Cats have a righting reflex that allows them to orient their body during a fall, but this reflex requires a minimum height to function, and it doesn't prevent injury at heights below a certain threshold or at very great heights where impact velocity overcomes the orientation advantage. More commonly, falls from second-story and third-story windows cause fractures, internal injuries, and jaw fractures, all of which require expensive veterinary intervention and painful recovery. The majority of these cases involve owners who assumed their cat would know not to step into an unscreened opening. Cats are curious, and their depth perception is optimized for tracking prey, not for evaluating fall risk from static heights. Installing window screens, or securing existing screens so they can't be pushed out, is one of the single most protective things you can do for your cat's summer safety. The investment is minimal. The risk prevention is significant. 4. You're using products that are dangerous to cats but labeled safe for humans. Summer brings a specific category of household products into regular use that carry serious risks for cats: sunscreens, insect repellents, and certain gardening and lawn care chemicals. Human sunscreen contains ingredients, particularly zinc oxide and para-aminobenzoic acid, PABA, that are toxic to cats when ingested. Cats groom themselves extensively, and sunscreen applied to a human that a cat then contacts and subsequently grooms off their fur can cause toxicity ranging from gastrointestinal distress to more serious effects with repeated exposure. DEET, the active ingredient in most human insect repellents, is a known toxin for cats. Even small amounts can cause neurological symptoms including tremors and seizures. If you apply DEET-based repellent and then have contact with your cat, or if your cat comes into contact with areas of your home or yard where it has been applied, the risk is real. Certain lawn fertilizers and weed killers contain compounds that cats absorb through their paws during outdoor access. The routine of cats walking across treated lawn and then grooming is a direct route of ingestion that many owners don't account for. Reading labels for feline toxicity warnings before use and restricting your cat's access to recently treated areas are the minimum precautions. When in doubt, cat-specific or pet-safe product alternatives exist for most summer applications. Subscribe here because the next mistake is one of the most common and one of the easiest to fix. 5. Your cat is dehydrating and you're not seeing it. Cats have a naturally low thirst drive. This is not a defect. It's an adaptation to their evolutionary history as desert climate hunters who obtained most of their water through the moisture content of their prey. In summer, this low baseline thirst drive, combined with increased fluid loss through respiration and elevated body temperature, creates a risk of chronic mild dehydration that many cats live in for entire summers without their owners realizing it. The signs of dehydration in cats are not always what you'd expect. Your cat may not seem thirsty. They may not be drinking noticeably less. The signs are more subtle. Skin that is slower to return to its normal position when gently tented at the scruff, gums that feel slightly tacky rather than smooth and moist, and urine that is darker and more concentrated than usual. Over time, summer dehydration contributes to the same kidney and urinary tract issues that affect cats in winter: crystal formation, urinary infections, and chronic kidney stress, because the mechanism is the same. Less water in the system, more concentrated waste products. The simplest intervention is wet food during summer months. Wet food is approximately 70 to 80% moisture compared to dry kibble at around 10%. Feeding wet food, even as a supplement rather than a full replacement, significantly increases total water intake without requiring your cat to drink more. Water fountains, which many cats prefer over still water bowls because moving water registers as fresher, also increase intake measurably. 6. The summer plants in your home or garden are a quiet hazard. This is the mistake most owners have never been warned about, and it affects a significant number of cats every year. Lilies, specifically true lilies, including the tiger lily, Easter lily, Asiatic lily, and daylily, are among the most toxic plants for cats, and they are also among the most popular summer garden and bouquet plants. All parts of the plant are toxic to cats, and the degree of toxicity is severe. Ingestion of even a small amount can cause acute kidney failure within 24 to 72 hours. The toxicity is so significant that even drinking water from a vase containing cut lilies has been associated with serious illness in cats. Pollen on the cat's fur, subsequently groomed off, represents a real exposure route even without direct ingestion. Other common summer plants and flowers with significant toxicity to cats include oleander, which is widely used in landscaping in warmer climates, azalea and rhododendron, begonia, and certain varieties of hydrangea. Outdoor cats who access gardens during summer are exposed to these plants in ways indoor cats generally aren't, but cut flowers brought inside affect indoor cats directly. Knowing which plants are in your home and your yard, and cross-referencing them against the ASPCA's list of plants toxic to cats, is a habit that takes 10 minutes once, but can prevent a crisis. 7. You're misreading summer laziness as relaxation. One final mistake, and it's the one that closes the loop on everything we've discussed. Your cat is sleeping a lot, lying flat in the coolest spot they can find, not moving much, not interested in play. You look at them and think, typical summer cat. But there's a difference between a cat who is resting comfortably in the heat and a cat who is lethargic from heat stress, dehydration, or an illness that the heat has made worse. The behavioral difference is subtle but real. A comfortable resting cat will raise their head when you enter the room. They'll track movement with some interest. They'll respond to their name. When they get up to drink or eat or use the box, they do so normally. Their breathing is slow and quiet. A cat experiencing heat stress or dehydration may not respond normally to stimuli. They may seem less aware of their environment. Their gums may look pale rather than pink. Their breathing may be slightly faster than normal, even at rest. When they move, they may seem slower and less coordinated than usual. The difference between the two looks small, but acting on the second when you notice it, offering water, moving them to a cooler area, checking for the dehydration signs discussed earlier, contacting a vet if symptoms persist, makes an outcome difference that matters. Summer is not inherently dangerous for cats, but it creates specific risks that are easy to prevent with knowledge and attention. Your cat cannot ask for shade, for water, for cooler air, for the window screen. They can only show you in the quiet, subtle language their species evolved to use. Learn to read it before summer makes it urgent. Subscribe for more of what they're trying to tell you.